Today we play golf.
Let me show you how we do it in the pros.
Welcome to Behind the Golf Brand Podcast.
I never miss with the 7-iron.
A conversation with some of the most interesting innovators and entrepreneurs behind the biggest names in golf.
My friends with the golf clubs. I lived on the golf course. I lived on the driving range.
From pro talk
You should learn something from each and every single round you play.
to fun from on and off the green.
Why would you play golf if you don't play it for money?
Just let me put the ball in the hole.
This is Behind the Golf Brand Podcast with Paul Liberatore.
What's up, guys? Paul from Golfers Authority. Welcome to Behind the Golf Brand Podcast. This week, I have a longtime friend of mine, Keenan Phillips from True Temper Sports. Keenan's been around. Keenan's been on a lot of podcasts. Keenan's cool. I was just telling Keenan earlier that I was all excited because I heard him on the TXG podcast, and I was like, I know we did podcasts with those guys, and or just a general, and I was like, I need to get him on the show. But True Temper, you guys know who they are. If you don't have probably good clubs, because True Temper is in I was telling Keenan, I'm like, you guys are like gold standard, man, for a lot of stuff. So they make phenomenal shafts, and it's not just one shaft line or one type of shaft. They make shafts from iron shafts to hybrids to drivers, and then also they own a lot of companies too, which is kind of cool because you usually see a shaft company that will only have we only own this. We're just this company. And with True, they have lots of companies under their belt. So it's kind of cool to see a company like this and a lot of Midwest values and, South, I think it's cool. So without further ado, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on for the True Temper family, and it's fun to be able to make it all happen, I guess.
What's funny is you guys are a big company, people don't realize how big you guys are. So what do you guys make? I guess, what sports are you in? Let me start there. What sports are you guys in? Because I know it's not just golf.
Yeah, so we have our golf division, which obviously I work in. And so we have True Temper as a brand, Project X, Acra, and Aerotech. So a really cool thing about that is, we can kind of separate those brands. They all make specific types of products for specific players. So that's a really cool advantage we have, I guess, from that sense and from an R&D sense as well. And then for other divisions, we have a baseball division that just got started about a year and a half ago. So that's anything from T-ball bats all the way up to BB Core, which is high school, college. So obviously being here in San Diego, which is where I'm located, this is our R&D facility for all our composite materials. So kind of being so into, composite R&D, it just made sense to really expand those fields. That's where baseball came from. And also our hockey division. We've been making hockey sticks for 20 years. We used to make them for other companies that would brand them as their own stick.
Really? I didn't know that.
We did. So it got to the point where it was why are we doing this? Let's just make our own.
Yeah, we're white labeling for somebody else.
Exactly. And it was stuff that was getting played in NHL, winning Stanley Cups as well. So it's high quality stuff.
Who are you making it for? What company back then? Do you even remember? I think, let's say Easton, Jofa.
No, I think it was Combat and Reebok, maybe. I think were the two. I know one of those is correct. One of them might not be correct.
That's cool.
I'm not a big hockey guy, so I grew up in Texas. We don't do hockey in West Texas. So we have our hockey division, which is great.
You have your North Stars. Come on.
That's right. That's 5 hours away. That's as close as it gets to Lubbock.
Yeah, because you're from Austin, right? So that's
I grew
it's a
up,
long drive.
Yeah, I grew up
Dallas?
in Lubbock even, which is
Lubbock. That's far.
Middle of nowhere. Yeah. But our hockey division is great. That's where we're almost a Titleist, a TaylorMade, a Callaway, a Ping. We're, an OEM in a sense. We make sticks, gear, padding, skates, all the above there for hockey. And then our lacrosse division as well, which is a few years old. Once again, being Texas, I don't do lacrosse that much, but our lacrosse division's really grown over the past year and a half specifically. And so that's been a fun one to watch grow, and just those younger brands watch develop has been really cool to see.
I didn't know that. And gloves.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I know. We got a little bit of it all there. So we do it all in hockey for sure.
So like my kids play lacrosse. Like lacrosse is getting big, at least in Arizona. I know it is getting the West Coast. I know it's like an Eastern kind of sport, I guess, but like I didn't realize how big it really was getting out here, and especially in California too. So my kids started like a year ago, and like, dude, that's a legit sport. That part's hard, and like, what I like about it is they are running the entire time, which is great. So.
That is true. So a lot of cardiovascular exercise there.
Dude, my kids are so drenched in sweat. Like the top of their hair is wet. Like the top of their head. Like they're sweating when that happens, right?
That's
like,
impressive too. 'Cause that's a dry heat.
Yeah, like it's not like a humid day. It's like nighttime. It's like 70 degrees out, right? And they're like full of energy, and like they go to bed right away at night. I'm like, oh, this is the best sport in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think lacrosse is a cool sport. So like, where did you guys? What sport did you guys start in?
Golf. So we've been making golf shafts since 1902.
For reals? I didn't know that.
Yes, that's in True Temper Sports. I guess used to be American Fork and Hoe. Long time ago, before anyone knows. And so it was 1902, and then when Hickory was still going on, this was all our steel manufacturing at the time. We got into the golf.
Where were they based at back then?
Geneva, Ohio.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so
True Temper has been around for a long time.
We have been, so a lot longer than people realize. I think the first steel shaft we made was like 1927, around there, late 20s, early 30s. So that's kind of when that transition from hickory to steel really started happening. And then 1964, we moved the plant down to Amory, Mississippi, where it's located still to this day. So we make.
Oh, and that's for all the steel shafted clubs or steel shafted shafts.
Yep, steel shafted shafts. They all come from Amory, Mississippi, still 100% owned, which is really cool.
So that was like your bread and butter initially, I would say, like, was steel shafts, right? Because like, listen, like, what I think is so cool about this company, right? It's like True Temper, like, you guys have Dynamic Gold, right? Which is like literally the gold standard. And then you have like AMT as your shaft, right? Elevate's your shaft, like, and those are all steel shafts. And it's a lot, right? And then you have the Aerotech line.
Yep.
Which that's for hybrids, right?
Yeah, so Aerotech's all graphite.
That's
with like steel fiber technology around it. So that's really cool stuff we have. And then Project X and Acura. I mean, we got a lot going on, like I said.
So before we get into the whole company, so like I want to know more about you first, right? So where'd you grow up at? Texas? Right,
I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, yeah.
What did your parents do in Texas? Like, what's in Lubbock? I don't even know.
Yeah, so Texas Tech,
middle of the state
University. So I was born in Austin, moved to Lubbock when I was, I guess, like a year or whatever. So I grew up there until high school. My dad worked for Texas Tech University. He was the chief technology officer, I think.
Oh, wow.
Or information officer, something like that, for the Health Sciences Center at Texas Tech. Mom's an occupational therapist. Graduated high school. They always wanted to get back to Austin. They luckily let me finish out high school, though, where I kind of, had all my friends. We had a solid base there. And I ended up going to college at the University of Texas as well, which is in Austin. So it just kind of worked out that way. So folks still live in Austin. I went to Texas.
Now, you're not a golf pro though, right? Like you didn't.
Correct.
Did you play golf in high school, like on a team, or were you just like normal, like everybody else who played with their dad?
Yeah, I played with my dad. I played baseball growing up.
That was your sport.
So that was my sport. I played baseball all through high school. My dad played golf at college in Baylor.
Oh wow.
So he played. So I always played growing up. It was always really kind of close.
Yeah, it was like something you did with your dad, but it wasn't like, oh, I was training every day to be a golfer.
Oh yeah.
No. That wasn't me. You can tell by my score.
No, yeah, not at all for me either. And so it's just something we enjoyed doing, and then really got into it, especially in college with buddies and with my folks living on a golf course in Austin, getting to play with them more and more, and got into the equipment side with, funny enough, kind of Rick Shields and Peter Finch videos back in the day, which obviously now they're humongous, but at the time, I mean, they had 20,000
way.
subscribers when I was watching it.
Yeah, Rick Gillis hit like
Even.
2.2 million. Like,
Yeah.
he's the biggest YouTuber.
So I remember, sitting there, whatever it was, sophomore year of college, just like watching these videos, and my roommate said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. He's hitting the new SLDR or whatever." Yeah, and we had Golfsmith 10 minutes away from us, rest in peace.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, so the equipment thing, I just kind of got into it all at the right time, and luckily.
So did you like geek out on the equipment? You're like, oh, this is cool.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's what you.
Yeah, gearing up for sure.
So you went to college and you just play like golf with your friends and like whatever. Like, how good are you? Like 80s, 70s? What do you shoot?
So I'm a 4. Is my handicap.
Holy crap, dude, you're good.
4.5. It's one of those.
No wonder you want me to come play golf with you. You're gonna kick my ass. Like, it's not even,
I don't.
It's not even be a
play lot.
contest.
I don't play a lot actually. I think last year I played like 22 rounds.
That's what people think, right? They're like, "Oh, you're in the golf. You do golf stuff. You play golf all the time." Like, no, man. Like, it's like there's a. I don't know. I wish I did.
I'm super inconsistent. I can go shoot 75 or 85 and not really be surprised by either. Just luckily, like I said, with my dad playing at a pretty solid base, and between him and my mom, fairly athletic, I guess, which helps as well. And the hand-eye from baseball and that motion of swinging. I still kind of fight the baseball swing a little bit every now and then, but it was a.
Did your coaches ever tell you when you were a kid playing baseball, or to your dad, like, "Oh, you shouldn't be playing golf because it messes up his baseball swing"? Because my kids coach say that all the time to my son, like, "Oh, he shouldn't be playing golf." They literally say that to us all the time. I'm like, really, dude? No, it doesn't. He's 9. Like,
and I played.
Like,
growing up, I mean, I played like 10 times a year, maybe. So.
Oh yeah, me too.
It wasn't gonna mess up my.
I play like Twilight rate. You know, it was like. I mean, Twilight rate was like $5, right? But it was like 115 degrees out in the shade. But it was like, I don't care. I paid $5. You know, I mean, whatever. It's like something to do for 4 hours with your friends.
And I got more into it kind of late middle school, early high school, early middle school, I guess, with buddies, because then they played in high school, and I was kind of more focused on baseball then for sure. But it was just something.
Did you play baseball in college or no?
I didn't. So did
you get hurt or did you get burned out?
Probably could have burned out. Yeah, I played my whole life. I probably
you burned out. It's not. When it quits being fun, it doesn't matter.
And the 5 a.m. workouts is not my thing, and I knew that going into it, and I wasn't even going to act like it was going to work for me. I like my sleep, and I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. 5 times a week to work out. So I got into the school I'd always wanted to go to, and just enjoyed it from there.
So what did you major in?
So I majored in sport management with a business minor as well. So I always knew sporting, the sports industry is where I wanted to end up. I didn't exactly know the route I was going to take for that. But I kind of trusted myself, I guess, in the sense that it's not really a field that it's not, say, like accounting or finance, where you have a job like right out of college that's going to, pay well and, a good career lined up basically for you. I
changed, dude. Yeah. Like, you know what it is? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a little older than you, obviously, but like, people think like, oh, you got to have a traditional career path, right? Whatever that is. And it's like, that's not even true anymore. So it's like, I went to law school. How many years of school I go to law? 12. I did 19 years of freaking school, dude. And like, my parents will tell me like, oh, my son wants to be a YouTuber, and his dad was telling me the other day about this, and he's like, I told him not to. I think it's stupid. And I was like, why'd you tell him that? Like, I know YouTubers that make way more money than you do, man. Like,
yeah, go for it.
Like,
that's the thing.
Go for it. Like, they're gonna learn about business. They're gonna learn about all kinds of cool stuff, technology,
being creative too.
Being creative. Like, why would you not? That's like
especially at that age, like if they're enjoying that as a hobby, I mean, it teaches you, creativity,
It gives them confidence, right? Like, it's ballsy to do that. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, my kids said to me the other day, well, like, not the other day, like 2 months ago, they're like, Dad, will you help us make a YouTube channel? And I was like, sure. I have the team. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So then I like surprised them, and like, they didn't know I was doing all this stuff. So like, I went and like, created a whole channel for them. I got like graphics made for them, like all the shit. So it looks like all legit, right? And then I'm like, they're really into Pokemon cards, right? Now, like that's what they're totally into right now. So like we have a whole Pokemon channel now. Just my kids, like we have like no subscribers, but they have so much fun with it. And I record it,
and that's all that matters.
And I'm like, but when like watching them being confident, like it's cool, man. Because like I wasn't that confident when I was 12, like, and it's like I don't know. I just think,
especially 12. That's like the middle school years. Yeah, no chance,
dude. That's like the worst years of your life. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's when kids were cool in elementary school and they become jerks in junior high, and then they like become somewhat cool back again in high school, right?
Yeah,
so
that's where everything changes for sure.
So I don't know. I think like that's like me too. Like I did traditional stuff, and like looking back, you know, yeah, it's great that I did it, you know, but it's like now at this time, it's like kind of knowing you don't have to go a traditional path, right? Like, oh, I want to become a finance major. Because like, knowing people I know who went to finance, like I know tons of people had finance degrees.
Yeah.
Did they ever practice finance? No, not in a million freaking years. They went to sales. You know, like, you know, they make more money in sales than they do in finance. So
I know. It's funny. I was going to go to law school, so I'd study for the LSAT for like, 5-6 months. The day before the day before my exam, like I'm doing some last second, it's like 9 o'clock. I'm trying to get to bed early. Like some last second prep work. And the way we had a house, a 6-person house my senior year of college. And the way it worked was the bathroom, my door, whatever, kind of shared the door to the bathroom, unfortunately. And so my buddy was coming in to get ready for bed, and I turned to him like night before my LSAT. I said, "Yeah, Zephyr, I'm not going to law school." And I decided then and there, I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I didn't want to do it. I still took the test the next day, did just fine, and didn't apply anywhere, and never thought.
You heard my LSAT story? So like, you went to law school story. So like, I used to be a pilot, and then like I stopped being a pilot because I got burned out essentially, and like it was post 9/11 and all this stuff. So I decided to go to law school, and like my wife was pregnant, and she was like 8 months pregnant, I think. Yeah, like 7 months pregnant. And so I'm mowing the lawn one day, and I'm like, I'm gonna go be a lawyer. I don't even know why it came in my mind, but it did, right? So I come in the house, I'm gonna go be a lawyer. She's like, all right, go for it. So I had to go figure out what to do. So I went and did like the LSAT course, right? Like you take a course, you know what that's like, whatever, I spent $1,000 on that, right? And all the books, and like, you know, it's all bullshit, right? Let me tell you that right at the top. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Doesn't mean anything in life. And so like you're going through all these pre-tests, like how smart are you really in, you know, vocabulary? Like stuff doesn't even matter, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess it does, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's the dumbest test. So then it's like, why is there math equations on here? Like, when did the lawyer do math? Like, I never did. In my 8 years of practice, I did math on a calculator, and if I couldn't do that, I would give it to a CPA. I'd be like, I'm not doing this, right? Like, so the deal was, though, like if I failed the LSAT or did bad, then I wasn't going to go to law school. Well, then I took the LSAT the day before my son was born, right? So I took the LSAT on a Saturday. My first son was born on a Sunday, right? And I didn't even know if I passed or not. I was glad to be done with it, and I was going to be a dad, right? So like, and then, you know, you find out like 5-6 months later or whatever, when you get your score and whatever your score is, like you need to be like above a 150 essentially to get into law school, or you're not going to a good law school. And then like, you know, I did, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to be a lawyer now. And that's kind of like my LSAT story. I mean, there's a lot of studying. You didn't miss out on anything, let me tell you. You know, guys I've talked to in the last like probably month that said, oh yeah, I actually had the guy who started Birdie Ball, right? The founder and CEO of Birdie Ball on my show. And he's so damn funny. He emails me and he goes, I don't know, somehow he knows a lawyer or was a lawyer. And he's like, oh, you and I have something both in common. We both were in law school for at least 2 months. So he quit law school 2 months into it because he's like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this anymore, right? Like, and so it's like finding the right reasons why you do something is, I guess, important, right? In life. Yeah. So you decided to take the LSAT, and then what'd you do?
So after that, I obviously, like I said, in the morning before, the night before, decided I'm not going to go to law school, so I didn't apply anywhere. Well, with my...
So your parents?
Oh, yeah. And they were like, okay. You know,
after the LSAT, you're like, oh, if I really want to do this.
Yeah. They're like, all right, that's, you know, really what you want to do type thing. They're supportive about the whole thing. And with my degree plan, needed an internship to graduate, and, you know, being the gear nerd I was, well, what do I want to do? So I really kind of thought about it for the next few weeks, and like, well, I want to work in the golf industry somehow. I didn't, any way, shape, or form, didn't know anyone that worked in it really, and didn't know really what it meant to work in the golf industry to that extent. But I was like, okay, well, I want to do this. So I started, trying to look up, internships available for.
You were a senior at the time?
I was. So this was like last semester, everything. Really down to the wire here, needing to make it happen.
Like, I need to find a job. I'm graduating in May, and I'm gonna move back in with my parents, and I'm gonna be that guy who doesn't have a job.
So I'm figuring it out, looking it up, and something that kind of dawned on me was something one of my marketing professors had said, and an example he'd given, which was, obviously you're always marketing yourself, and an example he gave was a former student who had come to him for advice on he wanted to work for Nike. And he told him, he's like, well, just, reach out to them about yourself. I don't care if there's a posting or anything, just reach out about yourself, about who you are, kind of what you stand for, your background, and, just how bad you want the opportunity to work for them in an internship perspective. And whether or not the story was made up or not, I don't know. But the story goes that he reaches out to them, gets the internship, so moves to wherever it is, Beaverton?
Oregon.
Oregon, yeah. And has an internship, then gets hired on after. And so I'm thinking about this too, and thinking about how it could apply to me for the golf industry. And so I reached out to True Temper on their contact form on their website, actually, because they had nothing posted. Couldn't really find a lot of things posted in the golf industry for an internship.
Why did you choose True Temper?
It's funny enough.
There's a million golf brands, so I want to know why.
Yeah, well, so I could find some stuff for like TaylorMade, Callaway, Titleist, Ping. Some companies like that had at least one posting.
Yeah, a job board, but something you're not qualified for. It's like some kind of engineer.
That was it. It was like nothing I really wanted to do type thing. And so maybe not going with an OEM, I was like, maybe I can at least get a response, get.
What year was this?
A communication started 2017. And so I reach out and I get a email back, actually probably a week later, from the senior VP marketing at the time, saying, hey, we'd like to set up an interview for you. We liked your, I guess, what you had to say.
Balls. Right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, for reals, that's true. Like,
and so
you put yourself out there for a job that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, and so I had the interview, got brought on for the summer, and got hired on after that. And it's funny, I still have my first boss who retired that Christmas that I got hired on. She'd printed off for me my contact form email.
That's cool.
Which was like two or three paragraphs long, and so it's still at my desk today. But yeah, pretty unique story. Got super lucky and fortunate, and
you never know, right? Like, you never know when you fill out that contact form. Like, sometimes you think that it's going to go into some void, right? Like,
yeah.
And then you don't know if like a company really is going to do anything like that. Like, when I was in college, like I went to college at Purdue, right? And so I wanted to move back to Arizona, but it was like, and I was in aviation, so like but I knew if I want to be a pilot, like I need to have a job, right, to afford to go to flight school. So I was like, I'm gonna work at Boeing, and like, I knew nobody. There's Boeing was here, right? They make Apache helicopters here. And so like I did the same freaking thing, dude. Like, I like met a lady at a conference who worked at Boeing, and we became friends. She wasn't even in Arizona. She was in St. Louis. And so like I just told her I was interested and I wanted to do, and she was really nice. She's like, well, I have a name of some guy in Boeing in Arizona. I'm like, okay, cool. So for a freaking year, dude, I was like emailing this guy, talking to him like once a month, just telling him I'm interested. Like, I didn't know who this guy even was, right? Like, oh, any kind of help you give me, whatever, be cool. Dude, finds out he was the vice president of the company. I didn't even know that, right? And so like all of a sudden I get a call one day from Boeing, and they're like, so-and-so recommended you for an internship. They even had an internship program. And so they're like, we want to have you come in for an internship. And so I guess I was like the first intern they had in like 15 years, right? It was me and two other dudes. And only because this guy like knew I was really interested, right? And I wanted to work there. And and when they interviewed me, it wasn't like they're interviewing me for like a job. They're like, oh, it was two different departments. And they're like, oh, which one sounds cooler to you to be in? Like, literally is what happened. And I was like, I don't care. I'm just happy to be there. I made, how much did I make an hour? I made $20 an hour, which is a lot of money back then. It's like, you're probably even born yet, dude. No, you probably were, but you're probably like a baby. So it was like, And I was like, oh, I was the richest person in the world, $20 an hour. Like, I think minimum wage was like $6 at the time, or $5. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. But the same thing, though, you put that out there, like, you don't know. I met so many cool people at brands by like filling out a contact form on brands I liked and I respected. I was like, hey, I'd just like to talk to you guys about working together potentially. Like, that like finds out, it's like, I made some really good friends that way that like were, the VP of communications or not communications or something. I don't know. That's a cool story, dude.
Yeah.
So then did you have to move to Memphis then or what?
Yeah. So 2.5 weeks after graduation, moved to Memphis, which is where the headquarters is. And
that's an adjustment.
5 years. Yeah. Austin, Memphis. But it was good to me. And 5 years later, moved out to San Diego.
So what is your role, I guess, at True?
Yeah, so I'm manager.
You guys changed your name. I don't know. I don't want to get it wrong.
I know. So I'm
True,
manager.
True Temper,
Yeah,
True
it's all over the
Sports.
place. True Temper Sports. So I'm manager of product marketing, so I do all the product marketing for us. And
For all the lines? Just
yeah.
golf?
For golf.
Okay.
Yeah, so just for golf. I only really work in the golf division. And then our developmental tours, so anything that's not Korn Ferry, PGA, so college and younger.
Oh, that's cool.
I head as well. So
So is there somebody else that has to manage tour players, or the tour relationships, I guess you say?
So we have a Korn Ferry rep, and then we have 4 or 5 guys on the PGA Tour.
Because those guys are traveling all the time, like every weekend, right? Like
they are.
They're gone. Yeah. The season, they're gone the whole time.
Yep.
Because you probably have a lot of guys using your stuff, right?
Yeah, so about 70% in the irons and about 80 in the wedges. It's like 77 in the wedges.
Insane, dude. Like
Yeah.
you have the market share of professional players using your stuff for a reason, right?
Yeah, we're super fortunate from that standpoint, especially, from the fact that being a shaft manufacturer as opposed to a bigger OEM, like once again, one of the club manufacturers, we don't pay any of the players to play our stuff. So
I learned that last week from Fujikura, and I didn't know that. Like I didn't know, like they don't sign shaft deals, right? Like it's just like an OEM, like a Titleist or whatever. But the shaft, that's why I like shafts and respect them so much to companies, because it's like you're not. It's different. It's harder for you.
Yeah. No,
and they use you for a reason. It's for performance, not because they're getting paid $10 million to use it. It's because they want to win. Like that's what you want, right? I mean,
that's it.
I mean, I think it's harder for ball companies because, like, oh, which ball company? It's going to be the same OEM that makes your damn clubs. So it's
more often than not.
70%. That's insane.
Yeah.
So, okay, when it comes to iron shafts, right? Like the True Temper, like the Dynamic Gold, is that like their biggest one?
Oh yeah,
I'd say it probably is, right?
So I think on tour, Dynamic Gold. Let's see, normal fields is like 154 players. Dynamic Gold and Project X alone make up low 50% of our 70%. So I think it's like 55% between those two. And to put that in perspective on tour, so Dynamic Gold averages whatever it is, like 35 to 40% of players in play in their irons. Project
That's
X
like one of two, essentially. Like, is using your shaft
Project
by
X
choice. By
between
choice, that's
15
the
to
key
20.
word.
I know.
Like,
And then it's insane. Like even for us internally, I think we get numb to it sometimes. And then outside of those two models, no other model on tour even averages 10%. I think the next highest from anyone is like us with AMT, even averages 10 shafts, not even percent, from a specific model. I think our next highest is AMT, which usually gets like 7 or 8 in play a week, and LZ, AMT and LZ get like 7 and 8. But so it's crazy from PGA.
it's always. I mean, I just love it. I think it's like the coolest thing in the world. Honestly, I just do, because I just think like it's an uphill battle for a shaft company, right? Because you're no different than the guy who's selling T-shirts, right? Like, you want to wear my shirt, cool, but like that's by choice. Oh wait, your Titleist brand, sorry, no. It's like, oh, you're using our shaft because you like our shaft. Number one, you probably use our shaft your entire life, right? Or one of our shafts, so you already know it's safe. You know it's going to help you win games, and you're choosing it over somebody else because you have a choice in who you want to use, not who's paying money to you, because at the end of the day, you want to win, right? That's all it comes down to, right? So it's more of a performance question, not like, oh, does this shaft look cool on my golf club when I swing it, right? Or something.
Which is usually how I pick for me.
That's what I pick. I mean, shit.
This looks sick.
I paint my dynamic gold black. I straight paint it. I don't want
Yeah.
No.
So we can just get you some powder coat ones. That'd be just as easy.
Oh, that'd be cool. What if I did like Rhino Guard on it? That'd be pretty redneck.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
They would never break. They'd be super heavy.
Yeah.
So, is there different types of dynamic gold though? I thought there
There are different weights.
Oh, that's right. But I thought maybe I'm thinking something else.
We have a mid also now on tour. So we have like Dynamic Gold X7. It's a little heavier, a little stiffer. Dynamic Gold 120, 105, 95, and then Dynamic Gold mid on tour right now as well. But
what is the Elevate?
so our Elevate line started probably about 3.5 years ago. So we had two. We had Elevate 95, Elevate Tour. So 95 obviously just being that 95 gram, that lighter weight, softer, higher launching steel shaft. And the Tour part really trying to give us kind of 120 gram. So usually if you see 120 to 130, that's more of a tour weight. To give us kind of a tour weighted shaft that was still relatively tip soft, help get that ball in the air and spin a little more for a player. So our Elevate line usually is going to be lighter weight relatively to, say, Dynamic Gold at 130 grams. And it's always going to be just on that softer side to really try to help get that ball in the air a little more. So it's great for recreational golfers.
Which one? Elevate?
Elevate. So it fits a lot of recreational golfers.
But what about AMT? That's like, I'm trying to understand differences. Like what kind of, I guess I'm trying to educate, right? Like, okay, what shaft is the right kind of shaft for what kind of person? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So AMT, we have three. We have AMT Red, which is going to be a lightweight one, AMT Black, which is mid to lightweight, and AMT Tour White. So what AMT stands for is Ascending Mass Technology. And what that means is as those irons get longer, so you go from say you start your 9 iron, once you move to your 8 iron, that's going to be 3 grams lighter than the 9 iron. Then that 7 iron is going to be 3 grams lighter than the 8 iron. That 6 iron is going to get lighter, so it progressively gets lighter throughout the set. With the idea being, if you have a player who really hits their shorter, their scoring clubs, you're going to want more weight there usually for control and accuracy. And if you have a player that hits those well but sometimes struggles with their longer irons, usually looking at that AMT set where it gets a little lighter there can help them get that ball in the air a little easier, help them swing a little quicker, get a little more distance with those.
So who's that made for? Is that more like a better recreational player / tour player?
For AMT White, for sure, because that one
white
is essentially a Dynamic Gold in the 9 iron pitching wedge. So that one starts at 130 grams there and then gets lighter throughout the set. And then AMT Black goes from 95 and like a 4 iron to 115 and sand wedge. And then AMT Red is 95 and 4 iron and goes up to like 106-ish in their wedge. So AMT Red does.
So with the Project X, because this is what I think, I love these things, man. They're freaking so cool. Like the smoke, like just a cool, like tell like what's the story with Project X when it came to like initially you did the iron shafts, right? And then you started moving into the driver shaft.
Yeah, so we acquired Royal Precision, who owned Rifle, Project X, all that in the early 2000s. And so Project X, the steel shaft, just Project X, has been around for about 20 years now.
Yeah, for a long time, right?
Yeah, it's a really unique design there. So it's stepless shafts, which one looks really cool, and just performs well for certain players as well. And then our graphite side, we had brought Project X into the graphite realm in kind of the late 2000s, early 2010s. And, it was doing okay. It was hit or miss. Really not until our hazardous line came out is when Project X graphite kind of exploded for us from a wood shaft perspective. And that
was... What was the first Project X? Was it black?
Yeah, so we had Project X Black and Project X Blue. And then we had like a PXV 52. We had a few other models.
Smoke super popular.
Yeah, I mean, Smoke does great for us. So we got our hazardous line, which in Gen 2 was Hazardous Smoke, and in Gen 3, Hazardous Smoke RDX. and we're hoping to have a Gen 4 potentially by the end of the year start to blossom a little bit.
I just think they look, normally they're amazing shafts, but I think they look so cool. Like, they just look badass. That's the way I can describe it. You know, like whoever came up with the design, you know, whatever that is, like, I don't know. I think they're phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean the branding behind it, everything. You got the hazardous diamond there that holds the specs. That's our flagship line for sure for Project X Graphite.
So when did the graphite shafts come out then? 15? You said 17?
Yeah, I think original. So the Project X hazardous line. So hazardous, the original.
Yeah,
hazardous started in 2015.
Yeah, like I mean, they all look cool. There's not one that doesn't look cool. So then, with the what just came out though? Wasn't green and red just came out?
Yep. So we just had RDX red and RDX green come out for us. So we completed our RDX line of hazardous. So that's kind of Gen 3 for us. We have 4 products.
What does RDX stand for?
I think it was short for like Redux. So like more than anything. So just obviously just kind of a newer generation.
So there's like, so if I looking back at the history, right? Like, exactly. So then like there's just a plain old hazardous, right? Nothing plain, but like there's hazardous, yellow, green, blue, whatever, right? And then Gen 2 would be the smoke series, right? And then Gen 3 is the RDX series. Mm-hmm. And all you're really doing is just slightly tweaking the design, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what shaft you have; they're all great shafts. It's just different developments that you're adding, features, I guess, to the shaft, right?
Correct. Whether it's newer materials, whether it's newer technologies, but most of the structures, like say original black, then smoke black, then RDX black, those are going to be minor tweaks along the way, from PGA Tour feedback, from our OEM partners, from club fitters on kind of some of the softer flexes that don't necessarily get play on the PGA Tour, so we don't get feedback from like a 5.5, so regular flex. So we take all that into consideration to really try to make that best possible shaft as the game evolves.
So there might be a new generation coming out at some point soon. Not soon, but like Gen 4, technically.
Yeah, so Gen 4 at some point down the road.
I'm assuming, yeah.
But
Smoke just came out, Smoke green and red.
Oh, yeah.
RDX just came out like at Christmas time, right? Or like November?
Yep, so we had Smoke green and red around November.
Just smart.
And then we had
timing.
Smoke black. Yeah, I mean, it just ended up perfect that way.
I know, because when you told me that in November, I was like, did it for the holidays? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, as the marketing guy, I'll take. Yeah, that was the plan all along. It just happened to be that way, but because we had original black come out the previous October, and then blue was around this time last year, a little before. It was around January last year, PGA show. So that RDX line's really expanded and grown. But when you look back at it from now with the original RDX black, it's
but look how far it's come in like 7 years. Like it feels like it's a mainstay already. You know what I mean? Like you look at like it's like a Mitsubishi Tensi. It's like, oh yeah, like it's almost like it's a well-established shaft, right? That's like it's not like a fly-by-night shaft. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh yeah, somebody came up with a new shaft. Oh yeah, I've never heard of it. Oh, it's a good shaft. Yeah, but I've never heard of it. No,
that's our flagship product. That's our flagship brand for sure on that side. I mean, if you see that hazardous branding going forward,
right away. You can see a million miles away on that shaft, man. The way it stands out, like the yellow on the black, or the white on the black, or the green on the black, like it just stands out so well. Like it's so clear. There's not a bunch of bullshit, like making it look all pretty and crazy. It's like it just stands out. But if you guys do something cool in the graphics, you put it like on the inside the hazardous, like where it stands. It's just brilliant. Like whoever that was just brilliant. Great marketing.
It's clean all around.
It's super clean, and it looks like. I don't know. It looks freaking cool, and it's a phenomenal shaft. So then you guys bought Acra, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what year was that? That was like 18, 19?
19?
Probably,
I believe.
Right? It had to
be. Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I did the press release for that. 19 of, it was like July. So July 2019, around there.
So then what why did you want to buy Acra?
So we'd always
know?
had a great relationship with Acra.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They always talk great about. Like, I remember because I used to work with Acra too, and you guys were like buddies, and you guys like did stuff together already, right?
Yeah,
kind of a
so
thing.
they shipped
It wasn't
out-
like
they were
yeah.
a distributor basically. So
Oh,
PG&C, the Acra and Kingston, they had this great shipping warehouse, and so for our aftermarket dealers, so what I mean by aftermarket is anyone that's basically not, a big OEM.
OEM or
So if you're going to a shop or something, or
TJ
you're
Superstore,
going to get
or-
feet, going to get fit, that buy shafts individually, they would ship them all out for us, and they've done that for a handful of years at this point. So we were really close with them, and so that was really, it just made
This is
sense.
pre-COVID.
Yeah,
like
so
this
it's
wasn't like a
pre-COVID.
COVID decision. This was like a year before
Correct.
COVID.
Yeah, and so it just made sense to bring them on board since we were already so tight knit.
And you got a
And-
bigger name, bigger market share, bigger,
bigger R&D budget and all that. So it was really
No, I mean, I
more
think it's
of,
cool.
bringing them on as opposed to that's when you
Yeah, it
always
wasn't like
say,
a buyout. Like, oh, Yeah, it
It
was
was
like,
more
hey,
just
this would be
like-
cool. You guys should come. We should let us buy you, but like you guys make good stuff. Let's do stuff together, kind of a thing.
yeah.
Not
So
like,
so use our resources and help each other here. So it made perfect sense.
so where's the R&D done for you guys then? Is it?
So all our graphite R&D is done here in San Diego. So we have
And then what about the
literally
irons?
15 feet away from me, Amory, Mississippi. So that in Memphis. So they're
What
about 2 hours
Aerotech? Where's
away.
Aerotech? Where's Aerotech done at?
So Aerotech, for all the graphite parts we'll do here, but
Oh,
then
okay.
to get them wrapped into steel fiber technology, that we have to source
So cool.
elsewhere. So that one, just the R&D process for that takes a little longer to get that then steel fiber wrapping done. But any graphite structures get done here.
So with the Acra line, it's like they make really great shafts, but it was more for like dealer, high-end custom fitting.
Yeah,
Like
so they're
it's a
always-
niche market, I guess you could say.
They're always fitting concepts. So with the Acra stuff, we don't have to hit a specific meat of the bell curve. We can kind of pick a player profile or a fitting concept or idea we really want to elaborate on. That's harder to tell in a mass market, but to
Yeah.
club fitters and to the people that are knowledgeable about shafts in general and that are fitting these people, they know how to use that properly.
They know how to use the technology to
Exactly.
get them
and
the
so
right
that's where
product.
that brand really just blossoms and is for the past, for 15, 20 years, it's been, their relationships too, with the Acra brand specifically in club fitters is, it's been huge for us. And yeah, bringing those.
It's a
guys on
different
is-
market, I guess, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause we sell.
I was hitting, like, I got the TZ5, TZ6
Mm-hmm.
shafts, like, when they first came out. And I think I'm not using them right now. I took them out because I'm using something. I don't know what I'm using now. Actually, I'm getting refitted right now, so I don't know. I don't even have my clubs. I won't pick them up till tomorrow, so I can't remember what we chose. But because I should say like, oh yeah, we took True Temper. I think I did True
drop the
Temper.
bag.
I took the whole bag. It's like, but I bought it. I didn't get it for free. I honestly don't remember because I had my clubs in like 2 weeks, so I don't remember what I chose.
Yeah.
It's what happens too is you kind of choose something, and then the fitting guy like says, well, actually, this is what you should use based on your profile, and then they like put you into something, whatever that is. But is Acra making so like the last stuff that they made for Acra was that the TZ5 and TZ6, or is there something new that's come out since then?
Yeah, so we just had the new TZ5 and 6. They're rolling out right now, so they're getting the dealers. So there's a new TZ5 and 6.
Oh, there is?
Kind of a Chrome version. Like the TXG boys did a video on it that posted this week that came out really good with Gavin Robertson. And it's, so similar kind
That's
of
cool.
ideology.
That's really cool.
So once again, not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're about 10% lighter, so they could really hit those true like 50, 60, 70, 80 gram weights that are on the shaft. And just some new materials and a few new technology bits kind of hidden.
So where are those made at?
So the Acra stuff's made at our facility. So for that TZ line specifically, and certain shafts in the Acra line are made different places. So So some Acro product is made in our China facility, which we've owned for 20 years when we bought Graphalloy. So we acquired Graphalloy in the early 2000s as well. So we've had that facility for 20 years. We own it. It's not like some other manufacturers that, have to kind of rent out space in a graphite manufacturing facility overseas. So that's a big advantage for us. And then some other Acro product is made in Japan. So just kind of depending on the product.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I guess like for this coming year, like what's happening with True Temper? Like, what are you guys going to be doing? Is there new stuff coming out? I guess new Acro shaft, right?
Yeah. So some new Acro stuff's come out. Obviously, we had the new TZ5 and 6 that I mentioned. Last year we had the new Tour Z RPG, so the new TZ RPG line from Acro 2 come out, which kind of falls into that TZ family. From the True Temper Project X side, a few new steel products. DG Mid has been floating around on tour for about a month and a half now. It's done really well for us. Trying to get some more parts through the lab to maybe hopefully bring that to consumers this year at some point. But that's been a really cool one to see blossom on tour. So Dynamic Gold Mid tour issue there. And then Project X, we got a few things up our sleeve still on the steel side. One part specifically I'm excited for on the steel side this year. And then some new graphite towards the end of the year for Project X as well.
You guys didn't know this, but Keenan's YouTube famous because he does all the videos, or he used to do all the videos for True Temper, which I think is freaking cool as hell because I know how much work it takes to do that.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
I think you should have your own channel. That'd be a cool channel. You've with shafts. If you like Keenan and Shaft channel.
Just KP shit. I'd get some interesting robot comments, just automated comments.
You just get some random comments of
I know.
and run paid traffic to it. So you're like, oh, I have all these people following me. It's like you're running an ad. So let me ask this question because Keenan told me before the show, and I didn't realize he did all the work. So like, when did the YouTube videos you were doing? Are you still doing them now for the company?
Yes. So it's just been. So we were talking about
not the last couple of weeks, obviously. But
so I moved out here a few weeks ago. Travel a lot at the beginning of the year with usually the junior stuff I do with events there, and then also having to, not direct, that makes it sound weird, but shoot the videos, and I'm kind of coming up with the concept as I do it, and then edit it afterwards. The editing process is what takes a bit of time to get it just right. So we're looking to bring on a video editor, which we hopefully are, to be able to put out more content this year on that YouTube channel. But they're fun to do. I enjoy them. So like, how do you shoot those videos? Are you just standing in front of a green screen or what? So in the Memphis office. In the Memphis office, we had a green screen. And a small. It's cool. You did a really good job, man. Like for real, thank you. That's a lot of work, and like you did a really good job of it. You know what I'm saying? And were you shooting that by yourself and just like scripting it out, or what? Just a tripod and just kind of go with it. And then edit the crap out of it whenever you sounded dumb. I mean, usually I know like. So the good thing about being the one, I guess, I'm figuring out how I'm gonna say it beforehand, or like usually as I go, I'll be like, oh, that's hard. That's the hardest part. And so I can edit it in accordance to where, and you'll see as the videos have kind of progressed, they've gotten better from a quality standpoint, but also I like to almost finish a thought and then cut to the next one. I feel like from an engagement standpoint, it's not necessarily that I'm stopping there because I messed up. It's that I finished that thought and I'm trying to cut to that next segment to really, keep the engagement exciting. Because like you guys did you guys even have any content before that? Or not really? We did. So we had some older True Temper school videos from years ago that we had done. I think there's still maybe a couple left on there just because they had a lot of views. So we kept them up. Back in the day. Yeah. But once again, those were underdeveloped and just not at the level that we as a company now, for what we put on there, would want to, post, if that makes sense. I think it's cool because, number one, a lot of brands are not even doing, like, no one's doing that, man, to be honest. And like,
that you guys made a conscious effort to do it and that you did it is really cool, because I know how much time it takes. I mean, you guys have like you are the star. I mean, literally, Keenan is the banner holding about 400 shafts in his hand.
That was not my idea. That was not my idea.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
I think it says new videos weekly on there, which is far from the truth. But that was the goal at one point. It's true for a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, I think you did a really good job at it, and I think it's cool. And it's like you guys have 6,000 subscribers, dude. Like, that's a little less than me. So, I mean, like, and that's you guys just making videos on like different shafts you're making and like this, you know, whatever. Like, I don't know. There's not a lot of manufacturers making YouTube videos, and if they do, like, I mean, it's the big boys, and those are all just big advertisements, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think the whole thing about what I wanted the channel to be for us was, so it was right when COVID hit. Obviously, we were just stuck at home for a long time, like, you know, a little more free time than usual for some work stuff. I really wanted to get into learning how to do more video editing and video shooting. You know, it's something I understand shafts are really confusing, especially when you have 4 brands.
it's so confusing.
And so anything I could do or we could do to help simplify that for the consumer, something to look up, just to put that information out there, because as we mentioned earlier, we are the #1 shaft in golf. We're the leader in our field. We should be the ones, you know, helping spread this knowledge to people in a place where people can come to, you know, really just learn more about golf shafts in general. And the last thing I wanted it to become was, like you said, a walking advertisement. I didn't want it to be like, oh, hey, go buy this. I wanted to really just talk it through and, you know,
Like a normal person. Like explaining it, like you could literally, no joke, bro. You could have your own YouTube channel. You could have like your Keenan does shafts. Like, no, it had to be all your shafts, obviously. You don't know about all the shafts, but like honestly, like you're educating people on shafts, but if you're not doing it in a way where it's like, oh, why the thing's so awesome, you should buy it. Look at these really cool animations, you know, blah blah blah. It's more like.
And I've been a firm believer. Like when we did, it's funny, Paula, who we just hired, has done the past couple tour reports for us, but we used to do tour reports every week, or we still do, after we win. And even some of the YouTube videos, I'm a firm believer in, you know, if something is genuine from a content standpoint, like if you see me mess up or laugh or whatever, that.
Like when my wife opens a garage door, like during a podcast, like
something that's so earnest and pure. I think that is the best content possible. That's what keeps it away from being that corporate push or the go buy this push. Is just, hey, I'm right here. This is me. If I messed up saying this, oh well, you know. I get
people like that. You get the naysayers to be like, oh, that's the wrong tool to use when you did blah, 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 you know, you should have gotten a whatever to test that out. I'm like, well, I don't have $20,000, so like to go do that. Like, this is all average people. Like, if I compare A to B, and A to B are literally the same price, now it's like, and they do the same thing, it's like, okay, which one's better? Well, it depends on what features you like. I'll tell you, like, that's.
No, I think for content, and even like, it's funny, people I follow, a buddy and I were talking about in the office yesterday, like, who's your favorite like Twitter follower for like NFL stuff or whatever? And I brought up, this is really a tangent, but I brought up Mina Kimes. Like, I love following Mina Kimes. I think she's hilarious. I think she's so sincere and genuine. And for me, when a brand or a person can come off that way, the content is just so much better. It's something I enjoy a lot more. It's just relatable.
You don't feel like you're being sold.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I want to inform you on the product, and if it works for you, that's great. If it doesn't, we'll try one of the other.
I mean, it's definitely working.
Yeah,
I think it is. I think what you're doing is working. Yeah. I think it's cool you're actually doing it. I think it's really cool you're doing it almost by yourself, right? I mean, like, you're recording it, you're writing the script, right? Yeah. Then you're editing it and you're uploading it. Like, that's everything, dude. So, and you guys have a lot of products, so it's not like some short little video about
a lot of products. The good thing is, I guess I write all the copy for the product, so I know what I'm going to say and what the talking points are, so that makes it easier.
You're not bullshitting people either. Like, oh, what does this thing do? Oh, okay. What's the technical thingamabob that we're talking about right now that makes it sound so cool? Like, you just know what it does, and you're just talking about it. Like, this is how we designed it. This is what we're supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to help you. Here's what you need to know about it. You know, it's not like, you know, some rocket ship, you know, graphic of a shaft flying or something. I don't really know. So I think it's cool. I didn't really realize that till the day. Well, I saw it yesterday. I saw it like 2 days ago when we were emailing back and forth. And then I was like, is that Keenan in these videos? And then like, I was like, oh, this is really cool. So then, I don't know, I had to give you a shout out for that. So you guys need to follow True Temper's YouTube channel because Keenan's on it.
Yes, please. There'll be one thing, much more content is to come. We have actually a fair amount shop that I've been traveling a lot, moving, and I finally talked my boss out of me having to edit everything. So, dude,
editors are expensive. They're so expensive.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you can find somebody to do it. I mean, if Keenan can do it for free, they can find somebody.
That's right. But no, so
I think you're doing a great job.
Grow more this year. Thank you.
We should do a video together. That'd be fun. I could be like, teach me about the shaft, and then
when you come up to San Diego.
Yeah, or I'll use some other shaft, and you're like, oh, it's a piece of crap. You should use this shaft. You should do that. That'd be freaking funny. Well, I am excited to have you on the show. I'm really finally glad. I haven't talked to Keenan in seriously 2 years. Like, we email probably a couple times a year. Maybe 6 times a year, sometimes a year.
Yep.
But I only talk to him, so it was really cool to have him on the show today. They found time in his busy schedule because he just moved from Memphis to San Diego, which I'm jealous about. And we talked about that for a half hour before the show today. How cool San Diego is. But he doesn't even know where to go get food at yet. So
I'm still figuring it all out.
But you guys, honestly, True Temper makes the best stuff. I mean, they make the best shafts. You guys need to definitely check out Keenan's YouTube channel. Let's just call it that for right now. And that's, but then also, find, if you guys are looking for new shafts, seriously, don't look that far. Check out True Temper. And they make a lot of cool stuff, as you know. Seriously, they have 5 or 6 shaft brands here. I mean, so it's
so there should be something in the line that works for you, and we try to make it that way where each product has a specific purpose. So if you're trying to figure that part out, this is not a plug for the YouTube channel. I try to describe those well enough to where you can figure out which one will work best for you. But if not, our customer service team is always pretty responsive.
What's crazy, they have this graphic on their website, and it's from 2020, 2021 tour wins. Dude, what did it say? 83% of the tournaments you guys won. Your shafts were used to win the tournament. That's insanity. No OEM company can say that. Nobody, right? I mean, not that high. So, I mean, that just tells you, the quality and that the players are wanting to use that product for a reason. There's a reason for it. It's not just hype, and they're not they're paying them $10 million a year, right? It's they want to win, which I think is the coolest thing. So, if I wanted to buy True Temper shafts, what would I do? If you're a person out there.
Yeah, so you can check out our online distributors. So, if you go to Golfworks, you have other online distributors as well. That's always a good place to go. If you want to go Golf Galaxy, Sporting Goods, those places, or if you want to go get fit, you can go to our dealer locator on our website, so TrueTemperSports.com, and find a True Temper Performance Fitting Center near you.
Ding!
There you go.
Well, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for all the support you guys have given us over the years. And I wanted to see you this summer, like we talked about, and do some content. Yeah. So I will see everybody in the next episode.
Perfect. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Behind the Golf Brand Podcast.
You're going to beat me at golf?
Stay connected on and off the show by visiting golfersauthority.com. Don't forget to subscribe, and leave a comment.
Golf is always more fun when you win.
Stay out of the beach and see you on the green.